What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Koppai Podcast, a Nintendo show, episode 65. I am one of your hosts, Kasdan Risk, joined alongside Mr. Koppai himself, Zach Risk.
Nintendo is coming.
You gotta prepare for battle. In case you're new here, we are an all Nintendo podcast that posts each and every Monday morning here on youtube.com/Koppai Gaming, as well as SoundCloud, iTunes, and podcast services everywhere and anywhere. And each week we discuss the games we're playing, the news of the Nintendo pipeline, and then a big old fat topic of the show. And today, I haven't changed this in the show notes. I gotta change that. Today we're gonna be talking about the 3DS, its death and departure, as the sales of it dwindle, the games of it dwindle, the quality of the games dwindle, and now the long life and prosperous future of the Nintendo Switch as it dominates the sales charts despite the production issues and the games coming out for it, the hype around all of that, as well as a ton of other news. That's just kind of the general theme for the episode. We have the reviews in for Hey Pikmin and Miitopia, so we're going to be diving into those. That's coming way later, but otherwise we have news on Rayman Legends, Lego Worlds, some Metroid stuff, talking about that Pokemon and some indies, as well as all sorts of good stuff. So it's going to be a good one for you today, folks. It's our best episode yet. If you do like that, be sure to super smash that like, subscribe, share, and bell button to support us and stay up to date on anything and everything Koppai, including reviews, Let's Plays, discussions, and more, with tons of Let's Plays going up. By the time you guys listen to this, there's going to be Splatoon 2 is going to be continuing. We've been going through the entire campaign there each and every day. But also, starting today, sometime up today, should be a Let's Play called The Legend of Tingle, Breath of the Tingle, where I play through the entirety of the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild campaign in Master Mode as Tingle. So I can only wear the Tingle Fairy outfit, which is incredibly weak. And I am finding out... I've been recording it. We have a lot of the episodes kind of in a backlog, ready to be edited and published. I've been recording it, and it's been super, super tough to play in Master Mode, and I'm pretty sure it's way harder than it's supposed to be because I have virtually no armor on. I just have green tights, and so be sure to tune into that. Let me know how you guys like it. But Zach,
yeah,
how you feeling? What you playing?
I'm doing great, feeling great. We just knocked out a couple of those cups in Mario Kart.
Oh, that's another tease. We got some Mario Kart Let's Plays. Those will be going up next week, next Monday.
Yep. And that was a lot of fun because I kicked your butt and the Nintendo World Champion, and so there is that.
I don't know about that. But...
Also been really enjoying Splatoon 2. Yep. Playing more of that. I really need to go. We need to do Salmon Run. We need to record a couple Let's Plays of that because I really need to get... I went and finished the the training and everything, so I'm ready to go. It was just closed like the last time I tried to even go over there. So,
you can't even do training.
Well, I finished the training, and so then when I actually went back to like do a little bit, it was closed. But then I've heard they've updated it, so now they're doing more like 24-hour windows instead of just the 12-hour ones, which
it's stupid to not have it open all the time. Like that should just be a thing that's constantly opened.
Yeah, well, at least for the launch window, I felt like, for the first couple weeks, like as people are picking up the game for the first time, I think there should be like a trial window where maybe it's just kind of set up for longer than usual.
Or maybe they could find some way to make it so it's only, sorry, I hit my mic. So it's only, you only get like maybe perks or currency or like a special sort of, I don't know, something during the, the hiring hours, but...
Yeah.
During the other hours, you can still play and get, like, I don't know, some sort of experience or something like that. Like, incentivize those kind of peak hours, but have it open 24/7 for people to at least go in there, have some fun, and get, at least a little bit of rewards. And so,
I guess
I think their worry is that you have people, I think they're worried about spreading their already kind of limited player base with only, how many Switches and then... by extension, how many Splatoon players out there.
That's true. That's a good thing to keep in mind is how like many modes they have in things that people can like play around in. That they got to make sure everything's adequately populated.
Yeah, you don't want like matchmaking taking forever. Like if you're the one person that's tuning into Salmon Run at 2 a.m., but if they make it so it's only from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m., then everyone's gonna be playing Salmon Run during that time. You're guaranteed matchmaking. So I mean, I get that part of it maybe, but I think they could still find a way, just like with Splatfest. Like, there's always Turf War, there's always these battles, but Splatfest is like the special time. So
right. Yeah, and I think I had been talking about maybe in the past couple episodes or last episode that I was looking for kind of a mobile title, like kind of strategic Fire Emblem Hero Z. And we kind of had talked about my kind of trepidation, I guess, with that game. And I don't know, I went in and I've just been kind of focused on trying to just stick with it. And I've been kind of, it has won me over again. I had initially been really into it. And then fell out, and then when I tried to get back in, I was like, is this really that great? Are they kind of just, is it like cheap so that, you want to get the full experience, of course. I'm already sold on the full Fire Emblem experience, so is that really kind of, for me, is it really giving me like a challenge, And then I found,
there's
there's a lot of challenge here. I don't know because I was just kind of getting this weird headspace about, like, grinding in RPGs, and I think it's a little bit different, and it's kind of just, it's almost the challenge you set, you make for it. But you also always have a feeling, I feel, in RPGs and games like this, that you do want to continue on. You want to just kind of get to it. You don't want to just grind over and over again, and it's nice too that they make it kind of less incentive to grind, because they're like, you're not going to get as much experience from this, you're not going to get as much, like, you can go play these levels over, but it's kind of just, it kind of promotes that, like, all right, get on with it, like, try to just go and try again and see if maybe you do a little bit better this time, maybe level up one level or so. But yeah, I found a ton of challenge there. I fell asleep on the couch last night, or the other night playing it. And yeah, I just ran out of stamina and noticed I had like one of those, like 21 of those dueling swords or whatever it was, stamina chests.
Yeah. Well, they give those out like candy. They want you to keep playing, so they don't mind handing those out. But getting orbs is the tough part. Yeah, but that's the thing. I encourage anyone, if you're like a lapsed, Fire Emblem Heroes player, it's like most, online free-to-play games. It's always good to poke your head back in and see. It's always tiny little updates over the course of a long period of time that really enhance the experience. So I encourage people to go back and try it if they played it at the start and didn't like it. And also, it's one of those games that, like, really, my wife was always so good about it with Miitomo. I was so shocked when one day she showed me, like, she had been playing Miitomo for 30 seconds every day just to get her free coins and free tickets, and then wouldn't play anymore after that. And so she had built up like 20,000 coins or something because she just got her coins every day. So then whenever she felt like playing, or whenever there was like an event going on, she had like 1 million game tokens ready to go for like the Miitomo drop. And I'm doing the same thing now with Fire Emblem. Is I make it, I'm actually considering like setting a reminder on my phone or something. I make it a very specific goal to every day open it up just to get my free daily orbs, because then that's 2 orbs a day, usually at least. Sometimes you get a bonus orb, and sometimes you get like 10 orbs just for logging in because it's like a special weekend or something. And you can get all the special event heroes, tons of summons, all of that if you just build up a ton of orbs. And I've also like fully maxed out my castle, which you can upgrade your castle with orbs, which again gives you more experience and other perks. And so you gotta.
Yeah, I've liked. It's almost been a game in itself of beating the free-to-play model in terms of not spending any money on orbs or anything, just because it's like I feel like it would almost cheapen the experience a bit if I paid for these special heroes. There's so much more reward in actually earning it through, patience and then actual skill in the battle, and earning them from either collecting your daily gift or just going through all of the different challenges that are there. And so,
real quick,
it's
though,
really awesome.
It's 5 orbs to summon 1 hero, and you can't even buy 5 orbs. You have to buy either 3 or 10. Like, that's the stupid. Like, it makes so much more sense if they sold 5 orbs, 9 orbs, because I think every time you summon someone, it goes down by an orb or whatever. Like, that makes so much sense. But it's $2 for 3 orbs, and then $6 for 10 orbs, so $6 for really only 2 heroes, and you don't even know what heroes you're gonna get.
Right.
Like, it's not like it even like guarantees you a 5-star hero. Like, if that were the case, like if you were guaranteed like the special event one, maybe I could spend like $3 if I have like $3 floating around. I just kind of want to spend it or whatever. But yeah, it's too much of the randomness for my taste. And I've gotten
get a really great. I don't know. I've done a lot of summons, and I usually just get 3 or 4 stars.
Yeah,
my experience. I usually rarely get one of the 5 stars, and then it's like, ooh, this is really, really special. But yeah.
I have a 5-star Marth, Leo, Jacob, Robin, Lucina in her Easter outfit, Roy, Tiki, Xander in his Easter outfit, some guy named Jagan, I don't know Jagan, Faye, Tharja, and those are my 5-star heroes. But yeah, I got like in the first week or so, I got Marth and Leo and Xander and all that, and Roy, like the most coveted 5-star heroes. And
right.
So, and Robin, yeah. Now I'm trying to get. Oh, and I did just get a 5-star. Where is she? Or is she not 5 stars? I just got a 5-star Robin from the. There she is. A 5-star Robin in her summer outfit. Just this past week, I summoned her.
I think the only 5-star that I have, I don't even really know who the person is. I'm like, who is this person?
Yeah.
But I do have some 4 stars, which are like kind of my prized. Like when I'm playing, I'm like, because I went and sent a whole bunch home. I was like, all right, you guys get out of here. You're all like 2 stars and
just these weak people showing up for battle. Like, I'm ready to fight. You're like,
I'm like, just get off my list, like, so I can just have like not as much hectic things to look at. And then I think it's lame. I gone like through those special maps, and it's like giving me 2-star. Like,
but you can merge them with your other heroes to make stronger heroes.
True. That's true. I've seen that. I need to get. I'm still figuring as I'm getting more addicted to it, figuring out how it all works still. But yeah, I'm really loving Fire Emblem Heroes, and I think I'm gonna keep playing that and try to knock out. It's like my goal to get through every chapter, and then
I'm still working on it, and I've been playing very regularly since the game came out, and they add so many chapters, and I cannot get through chapter 10 lunatic mode. Like, it's so hard. And so, I think my big problem is my dream team right now, and I'm so sorry for people that like don't play Fire Emblem Heroes. Like, maybe it incentivizes you to play though, because if you love Fire Emblem, you got to get this game and just give it a shot. And just, I mean, it's not a game that you need to sit down and binge and play it like a normal video game, but really do try to maybe make it a routine in your day, because you'll start to kind of find it's really nice to have this almost like chess, but Fire Emblem, and then just there's an addiction to slowly over the course of a week. Like, if you play every day of the week, you have enough to summon 2 heroes by the end of the week, and it's really addicting to like get to the end of the week and be like, I wonder if I'm gonna get, swimsuit Robin. Like, let's go. But I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Something along those. Oh yeah, I think it's because my team, my level 40 team right now with all 5-star people is Roy, is Marth, Robin from Fire Emblem. What is it? Awakening. Yeah, Awakening, and then I don't know, 2 other super famous heroes. Leo, I think, is one of them. And I love those characters from the games and Super Smash Brothers and all that. And so I have them as my dream team, but I think 2 of them are blue, like type blue enemies, and I think one's red and one's gray. So I don't have anyone that's green on my team. And it's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors where, green is strong against blue and blue is strong against red. And I have no green on my team. So if there are green enemies, we usually get demolished. And so I need to level up someone to level 40 and get them like a green person in my team. But I've been playing tons of that too.
Yeah, well, I think that's a fun thing about it too, is going through and editing your teams and getting all of because I have a lot of, it's like I have a team of 2 reds and like 1 blue, and then a team of 2 greens and 1 red, and then 2 blues, and and so I have all my teams maxed out with just a different combination, so that on whatever particular level it is, I just kind of go through and I'm like, you guys are kind of the one that I think is going to best handle this. And so that's what I think has also been really fun about it, is kind of editing the teams together and getting the good combination for those moments. Sometimes I will prefer like one kind of special team if I can, but it's really nice to kind of, that's part of the puzzle of it or something. But yeah, Fire Emblem Heroes is awesome, but I've also been playing a lot of Mr. Shifty.
I saw that,
and I've been going through that. I think I'm almost through the game. There's been a lot to it, which has been kind of surprising to me because I thought I was like near the end, and then I'm like, oh, it's kind of surprising with like just how much there is here. And then I'm hoping like maybe even after I beat it, it unlocks like a challenge mode or just some extra stuff to do. But I even think like if it doesn't, there's a lot of replay value to this game because there's like a speed run element. It times your how fast you beat a level and then how many deaths you've had. So if you replay a level and you get quicker, and then you can also I'm like gonna try to like beat the whole game with no deaths, so that once it's every level has 0 next to it for the amount of deaths I've had. That kind of challenge. And so yeah, you can go through and like do really badass like Matrix-y kind of maneuvers and like really feel like kind of Neo and do. I mean, it gets really intense towards the end where. I mean, you really have to be using your shifty powers to the maximum.
Do you think, because I have Mr. Shifty downloaded, we are the problem with the Switch where we buy and download every game that ever comes out, including you still have Othello over there. I have Mr. Shifty. I bought it for no reason other than I wanted more Switch games. I haven't even opened it. Like I haven't even digital game could have shrink wrap, like it would have it on there. And so I'm curious. Yeah. I've been really into the Let's Play, hype of making these Let's Plays and kind of filling up Koppai Gaming with a ton of Let's Play content. Do you think this game would lend itself well to a Let's Play series?
I think I'm kind of mixed on it. I think that it's, I mean, you do kind of focus. It's not as much of a game where you're more casually kind of playing through. There's shorter levels. They're condensed, so that might help for a Let's Play series. Okay. It's about 6 to 10 minutes to get through a level, so it's not too long. So that might be cool to just get in there and figure it out. I think it would probably work. I would say yes.
And I would think maybe people would want to tune in and check it out.
It's just a little bit sometimes crazy and hectic, and I'm just not sure how much it would lend to like commentary. But yeah, I'm not as Let's Player like friendly with how that all works and how which games would work best for that. It's kind of a toss up. You'd almost have to record one, I would think, and see like how it goes. But the game is it's a really awesome game. It's becoming one of my favorite games I've played on the Switch because it's just the challenge is great.
I hear it's like Hotline Miami.
Yeah, it's very similar to that game.
Okay, cool.
But there's just some moments where it gets so intense and like you can't believe you escape from a certain situation or are able to pull off something because of just your skill and that.
Because you're shifty.
And just what is it? The reflex of that immediate reaction that you have to have sometimes to pull things off. Really awesome game. Awesome. And highly recommended. And I think it's pretty inexpensive too. So.
Cool. Yep, I've been playing, as I mentioned, the Tingle Master Challenge. I do want to say it'll be. I think this is like quite a few episodes in the future. So it may be a few weeks down the line because of the way I record them. But the latest episode I recorded was literally an hour long of footage, and I'll have to edit it down to 10 to 20 minutes to make it Let's Playable or whatever, or watchable. But it was the most basic camp, like. And I think it would be something that like everyone would have experienced, I would think. But you get to how do you pronounce it? Hatino?
Yeah, Hatino. I think Hatino.
Hatino. You get to the Hatino village, and there's this little farmer lady that's like, "Hey, all these monsters keep taking my sheep. I need you to go kill the monsters so I can get my sheep back." And I'm playing through. So this is a little tease of the series. I'm playing through, and I'm like, "Well, that's our Let's Play for the day. I'll go get the sheep back." An hour later, I feel so defeated. I'm like, what in the world? Like, I feel so prideful. Like, I want to make it a fun series, so I can't, be like, oh, well, we suck, so I guess she's not getting her sheep. Like, no, we had to get the sheep back. And so, I had to do, a full-on, when you're playing an RPG and you have to, go back to the hub world and get more equipment and stuff. I had to go back to the village after fighting at this camp for so long. and go back and like walk into one of the shops and be like, I need all of your bomb arrows. Like, here's all of the animal fat I have, all of the berries I've found. Here's everything I own. Give me all of your bomb arrows. And then I go back to the camp. I'm like, I'm gonna freaking kill all these monsters. Like, finally, like this is the advantage I need. And it starts raining. I'm like, are you freaking serious? Because bomb arrows don't work in the rain. And I'm like, does it rain more in Master Mode or something? So that's been my time with the Let's Play series.
But it just rains constantly, especially around that area. It's like,
yeah, it's like kind of like a tropical area and stuff. So yeah, so I won't tell you how it all worked out, but there's this moment in that episode particularly where it's just like, man, this is a special series. And so I'm excited for that to kind of be rolling out and, kind of never ending. Like, that's just kind of a thing we're going to have on the channel from now on. It's just, you can always tune into the latest adventures of Tingle in Master Mode. So, and I just real quick shout out, because it's not on the Switch. I've been playing a few hours of Marvel Heroes Omega. It's basically Diablo 3 meets Marvel, where you can pick your own hero and play through, like, it's isometric, where you're just going through this top-down sort of view. And each Marvel Heroes has their own ability. So I played through as Iron Man, and as I leveled up, it's free to play, so you can just check it out. And as I was leveling up, I eventually got the ability to do the chest beam, where like his full chest would light up and shoot out a beam, and I'm just mowing down enemies, and it kind of has that Diablo gameplay where like we're in Diablo, all these demons are rushing at you, and you just wipe them out like crazy. This is the same way, where it's just like a bunch of mobsters and, criminals and superpowered mutants and stuff coming at you. And I also played through to level 10 as Spider-Man, and eventually you get the ability like to swing around and kick people as you're swinging. And so it was really, really fun and free to play. The way they get you is, in order to take a hero past level 10, you have to buy them. But they do give you one free hero to get to level 60 with, and then you can replay in a prestige mode. And then you can also buy costumes. So, like, if you want to play through Spider-Man in his homecoming outfit, that's like, $20, kind of like Overwatch or something. Like, you get loot boxes. So
interesting. And I was wondering, like, since a lot of superheroes like fly around and everything, how does that work with the isometric sort of system?
You can, like with Iron Man, for example, you can kind of hover up and you just kind of float above the level is what you do. Each hero at level 10 has the ability to, they call it travel mode, where you can just kind of run across the level. And like, so Spider-Man swings, Iron Man floats. I've seen some other heroes like Silver Surfer, the X-Men guy. I think he's X-Men. I'm not too sure. Like he just surfs around on his little, or no, it was Iceman from X-Men. And he like surfs around on his little ice surfboard. And the cool thing is like, I mean, there's so many heroes because there's so many Marvel characters. And it's also kind of cool because like with Iron Man, for example, he has the suit they give you is like his comic book one, but you can also unlock his Civil War outfit. So it's like the kind of classic movie Avengers one, or you can unlock like his, classic 1950s completely bright red, bright yellow. Same with like Wolverine. He can look like he's, old man Logan from the movies, or he can look like in his little spandex, orange or yellow and blue outfit. So it's really fun, and I'm excited to get more into it. And get my free hero unlocked. I'm kind of trying to play around with a few heroes before I commit to one, because then that's probably the only one I'm going to play. But I think you can buy for $60. I think you can buy, basically they call it the Founders Pack, where you get to play through all of the Avengers, get all of their movie skin packs, and then play through each of them. So you basically can buy it as a game if you want. And so I've been playing tons of that. It would actually be a game. The big bummer part about it is it's completely online based, because it's like kind of it's an MMO kind of, and so it wouldn't be able to be on the Switch is the thing.
Oh, darn.
But
I was thinking about, like, that sounds like a great game for the Switch. But.
Yeah, like it really, like, there were so many times I was playing it last night, like, this is awesome, and it is on the PC. And so I normally, like, so far my kind of thought process has been, okay, if it's on Switch, get it on Switch. If it's not on Switch, get it on PC. If it's not on PC, get it on PlayStation. But it's way, way better on consoles, because it is that kind of top-down isometric thing where, actually, I don't know why I said that, because normally that does lend itself well to a PC to point and click where you want to fight. but there's so many moments where you're managing your inventory right on the spot because it is online and it is live and you're kind of going through these levels, that holding down a trigger and quickly kind of doing that little click wheel and just finding your stuff. And they also kind of polished it more because it was, I don't know the whole history of it, it was like Marvel Heroes, I think 2015, then 2016, and now it's Marvel Heroes Omega just for the rest of its life. And I think on PC it was pretty much like kind of like an early access thing. Like you can read people's reviews that have like 3,000 hours on record because they've been playing it since it came out in 2015. But now they're kind of treating it, I think, as like, okay, this is it now. Like,
right,
this is Omega. So, I mean, I don't know. I would have to read up on some articles to see if it could come to Switch, if the developers have said anything about it maybe coming to Switch. Because it makes me want to play like all the Marvel Lego games though, just all that Marvel hype. So sorry to talk so long about a game that's not on the Switch, but I would assume also though a lot of people that listen to this also play other consoles. So Marvel Heroes Omega, go check it out. I
might have to go check that out because
we could play together too. It'd be awesome. And then they do that whole thing where if you're level 1 and I'm level 10, the enemies are the enemies, so we could play together, kind of like Elder Scrolls Online, where it just balances to you. So you could just be getting it, and I could be a few hours in, and we could play through missions together. And I haven't gone anything beyond the story, but I think they do have like raids where it's like a supervillain escapes from, I don't know what the Arkham Asylum is of Marvel, but stuff like that. The Hydra headquarters or whatever. I don't know. So, but I'm playing that, and as always, Pokemon Go. I've caught like 20 Pikachu this week with the Ash Ketchum hat. I'm trying to get the perfect, EVs and IVs. And I just caught a Bayleaf today in the Pokemon raid, so been fun doing that. They've been having an event, I think, because of the Pokemon Go fiasco, where I think they've been making more Pokemon pop up because of like trying to get goodwill going. Like it's like a special 1-year anniversary event. Because there's been like 1 million Bulbasaur outside my house, like in the park next door. Bulbasaur just running wild, just mating, making love, and the vine whips are going, and the babies are everywhere, and I'm just picking them right up in my little bag, chopping them up into candy, and away we go.
I wonder if I have a Bulbasaur. I know I have Charmander and Squirtles, but I don't know.
My wife, I think I mentioned this, my wife, on our very, very first walk last year playing Pokemon Go together, she chose Squirtle as her starter. She caught a Bulbasaur on our walk and hatched a Charmander all in one walk. I'm like, how in the first time she's like ever played a video game. I was so mad at her. I was so mad. I'm like, how did you get all 3 starters? Like I was freaking out that we found a Bulbasaur on our walk. And I don't know how she got all 3. I was so mad at her. But anyway, let's unclog the Nintendo pipeline. Each and every week we dive in Nintendo's news pipes to find out what's happening to the world of Mario and friends. And this week we have 10 pipe plug-in news bits that need to be dealt with. Number 1, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition gets a release date. And I think this is for Europe, but it may be for the US as well. I'm not too sure. The game had a demo go live in Europe, which has since then been pulled down. Yet the eShop page listed the release date for the game as September 12th. The game will be a remastered version of the 2013 edition with some added Switch bonuses. So the question is, are we excited? Will it be picking this game up? Me personally, I haven't played a Rayman game, really. I don't I've played the demos before, and I think I had a friend that had it that I played once or something. I'm not too sure. So I'm interested in this. Brian Altano on Nintendo Voice Chat was saying that Andrew Goldfarb was saying that it was like a really fun portable game that he like platinumed it on the Vita, and so that kind of interested me.
I'm definitely getting this.
Oh, really?
I kind of told myself, like, right when it was announced that this is when I'm kind of, because I've never really been too into Rayman. I've played a little bit of a couple of them, like just a level or two, and they seem like, well, there's an interesting thing about Rayman where I from what I gather, in the beginning of the series, it was a little bit slower and a little more methodical and puzzle platformer, not too quick. But then, by the time Rayman Legends, it's way more of almost like Mario meets Sonic, sort of the modern, what you'd think of just a typical platformer where you can go quickly through the levels, and it's kind of exciting.
And almost, it's gorgeous too.
I'd say almost like a modern Donkey Kong kind of. I get a vibe from, like, because of just the stylistic choices that they kind of take. It's a little more what's the word? It's like liberal, I'd say, than conservative. Like Mario is kind of a little more pulled back, whereas Donkey Kong just kind of goes all out with like wild jungles and stuff. Rayman's kind of that sort of thing where
swinging from vines and
they go crazy with it. And I'm really excited to just finally. I think this is a great point to jump in with, and so yeah.
My only fear is, and Andrew Goldfarb kind of alleviated it. My only fear is that it won't have a lot of replayability to it. Because so far, most of my Switch games have kind of had either like a high score based replay thing, like, or they've had like, I don't know, like with Zelda, for example. I guess once I beat it, that's pretty much done. But there are the 900 Korok seeds, so it's like, all right, there's reason to go back to it. And with like Mario, there's going to be how many moons probably to get in that game, and with all these other indie games, there's always like a high score thing. With this, I was kind of curious. What's the reason to go back and replay this and constantly have it on my Switch as a digital title? But then Andrew Goldfarb said that he's played through it like 4 times, and then he's like, it's perfect to play on the go because there are those little tiny collectibles, and it is like what you'd expect out of like a platformer. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I would assume. Yeah, I think that there was a lot of collectibles in a couple times I played it. And just so many hidden secrets and things to do in those games that, and there's games like Wonder Boy on the Switch that we've picked up. And I mean, even Shovel Knight, kind of once you played through the campaign, and then there's New Game Plus. But then there's always like, I might replay through Shovel Knight again. They give you a whole bunch of save files and all that. So it's like, it's such a good game that, Rayman Legends is definitely, I'm going to pick that up.
Another game that we may be picking up, number 2, Lego Worlds, also gets a September release date. September 5th for US and 8th for Europe. $40, including the 2 DLC packs. And so the same question is, are we excited? Will we be picking this up? Me, personally, this caught my eye a little bit more than Rayman. Lego Worlds is going to be, like, awesome. I've always wanted it, and it being on the Switch is going to be perfect. Like, to be, like, Minecraft on the Switch has been the best thing to ever happen to Minecraft. I'm assuming that'll be the same thing with Lego Worlds, where it's just like, it's always going to be so cool to pick up your Switch, build some stuff with Legos, all of that. And $40 is a perfect price point.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly. I'm getting that. I've been looking forward to that, waiting for Lego Worlds. Like, I wanted to get it
on PC.
I wanted to hit it right when it came out, because just when they announced it, it seemed it's been the Lego game, you've always been waiting for, basically. I'm still curious. I don't know. I haven't followed enough about it to know if it has almost a Realmsy like system where we can play, create a world that, both of us could access at any time. Cause that would be like what I would really love on it. But even if it doesn't, I mean, I'm still excited for Lego Worlds, and excited to build some things with Lego. It looks like prettier than Minecraft, because it's got
and there's this like that kind of charm, I think, with Minecraft. It's always there is that charm to Minecraft too, where you always build stuff with just pure cubes and it's always blocks. And Lego kind of has the same thing, where at least if it's the Lego games or anything to go off of, you can't just like make a big ball or whatever. Like, it has to be brick by brick, like I think they do like have certain tools where you can kind of basically paint with brushes, almost like, okay, I want a mountain of Legos so I can make it so it's like, quickly formed and pulled up and all of that, like just with like big tools and stuff. But you could dissect that brick by brick, and there's kind of a cool charm to that, where it's like, it's you can kind of get these really fine details, and there's so many different types of Legos and curves. And it just seems like, it's essentially a digital toy box of Legos. And my hope is that, we have Lego City Undercover. We're getting Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, I think, this fall. My hope is that we get like Lego Dimensions, or I don't know, that Lego just becomes like a consistent thing on Switch. Because, like, I just love Lego games. And did you ever pick up Lego City Undercover?
Yeah, I did.
Have you played it at all?
I haven't even touched it. That's our
problem. That I'm a little bit more curious about getting that now. Maybe even considering doing like a Let's Play series of that, kind of going through the open world of Lego. That just sounds perfect. Like, I'm craving Lego right now. So
I know for sure that I'm going to get through it, and then I'm going to touch it one day and like play through the entire thing. And so that's what I kind of picked it up for. It was like, I'm going to just pick it up because I know it'll be there whenever I'm feeling like it. It's kind of like the case with Mr. Shifty and everything. It's like I don't know what hit me one night, but I was just like, I need to play Mr. Shifty right now, and I'm almost through it. And so it's kind of the same situation where I just felt, there's gonna be one night where I'm like, I want to play some Lego City Undercover for just
it'll be downloaded and ready to go.
And it's good to go. So, but I'm excited for that because I hear it's just like GTA Lego. So that's really awesome.
Yeah. Number 3, Metroid Samus Returns gets some amiibo news. We have known for a while that Metroid Samus Returns will be getting 2 amiibo alongside its launch, a squishy little Metroid and a Samus in her classic Metroid 2 pose. However, we now know what perks will accompany those amiibo. Samus Aran as the Metroid Series 1, so the new one, the Metroid 2 pose, will unlock a special ability recovery item called the Elon Reserve Tank, and also a Metroid 2 art gallery after beating the game. The Metroid amiibo will unlock a Metroid tracker that tells you the nearest location of Metroids, as well as a fusion difficulty mode, a sort of challenge mode that must probably be something related to Metroid Fusion. And if you have the Samus Aran from the Smash Bros. Series, that'll unlock a missile reserve tank, as well as some concept art for the game. And Zero Suit Samus will unlock an energy reserve tank, as well as a sound test. And with this news, a lot of people have been very angry about this, including most of the crew, like on Nintendo Voice Chat, and lots of comments on Nintendo forums. And so the question is, what do we personally think? Should these features have been included in the base game? And, is it unethical to hide day one game DLC content behind a paywall, which is actually a $30 paywall because you have to get the amiibo in a bundle? And that's not even, I didn't even realize there's actually separate perks for the Smash Bros. Series. My personal answer is, I think people, and I've actually heard this talk a lot with like Destiny 2, for example, because they announced this past week that if you pre-order the Destiny 2 game, you get like a bonus gun, and people are just all up in arms like, it's there anyway. But I always just view it as, with stuff like this, think of it this way, like they were having meetings, and they were like, we have the game done, what do we do? And it's like, hey, we know what, we're going to get extra funding from these amiibo. How about we use that money to spend some extra development time on a hard mode, And like we'll use those funds and that bonus of the amiibo selling to make this. Like, I always view it in the mentality of, if there were no amiibo, there would be no hard mode. Not there was a hard mode and they locked it behind an amiibo. And now maybe that's not right. Like maybe they did lock it behind it, but we love Nintendo. We trust Nintendo for the most part. Like, they've made some goofy decisions, but we obviously are so invested in their franchises and characters. I don't know why with situations like this, our first response is they must be evil, greedy, terrible people. And also, like, I don't know, it happened, I guess, with the Zelda hard mode thing, where it's like, why are you locking this stuff behind a paywall? Like, everyone should get it. And it's like, I think that another response is like, does anyone feel slighted in the least with the deal they got with Zelda, like, for their $60? Like, do you not feel satisfied with that experience? Because, like, if they had never mentioned a Hero's Path or a hard mode, you would have never been like, man, this Zelda Game of the Year, Game of the Century game was not worth my $60. Like, is anyone going to play through Metroid Samus Returns for the $30 or $40 they spend on it and be like, you know what, though? It sucks it didn't have a hard mode in it, because that would have made it it was not worth the money I spent. Like, you're still getting the game you were promised, the one that was announced at E3, the one that you've been waiting for. It's a new Metroid, and you're all complaining about the amiibo. Like, I get it that it's, would, in an ideal world, would you get everything all in one? Yes, sure. But also, I don't know. I would rather have amiibo than not have amiibo. And if they were to cut out amiibo, that would suck, because I love collecting them. But if they're going to have amiibo, they probably should tie something to it. And it's like, whoa, cool, I'm going to get that amiibo anyway. Cool thing, I get a nice concept art gallery. Like, it doesn't, change anything. Like, the difficulty mode probably won't change too much. Maybe, I don't know. Zelda's master mode so far has been quite different. So
I think that one thing is that usually most recent, or over the past, I don't know, 5 or 6 Metroid games. I don't even know how many there are exactly, but just the past recent ones, there's been a hard mode kind of included in the game, it feels like.
Yeah.
And so I'm not 100% sure about that because I'm not, too familiar with all the Metroid games, but I was pretty sure they usually include sort of an extra unlockable difficulty, or, I guess what I'm thinking of is with the Wii Metroid Prime series, there is the veteran mode, there's the hard mode, there's normal mode. So at least in the Metroid Prime series, you usually get kind of a range of difficulties to select from. So there is that, and that kind of seems like something that you'd kind of maybe expect from a Metroid not to be included behind an amiibo. My big concern is the fact that amiibo, I went to immediately when I learned that you could only play the hard mode, this fusion mode, on using this squishy Metroid amiibo. I went to Amazon and it says it's not available, and so I'm concerned about even being able to find one because of how now they've kind of put that scarcity out there of, you're going to need this if you want to get the full experience of the game. So that makes everybody want to buy up that amiibo. It makes it harder to find, and so I'm just kind of worried I won't get my, with the whole NES, and SNES shortages that we've seen, and how Nintendo and Switches, and just basically everything that Nintendo's done in the past few years, there's been shortages, and so that just kind of concerns me a bit.
Yeah,
and even the fact that I guess maybe there's the point that I could play through it now. And then, as we say, like with the Rosalinas and, the Villager, eventually we were able to find. They might do another edition or like a reprint down the line because it's so important for Metroid. Because I would
assume the Metroid are probably going to be used in Metroid Prime 4. Like they're doing really good about that, about carrying forward amiibo, making your old collection new again with certain games. And it's a good point too that with the Zelda Hero Master Mode, for example, everyone was up in arms because they're like, you've locked this hard mode behind a paywall, you suck, Nintendo. But if you could complain about it all you want, but at the end of the day, if you're like, all right, well, you suck, but I'm gonna get it anyway, you could decide to get it. With this, if someone comes around on it and they're like, you know what, I do want to get it. Then there's like a whole other, like you're saying, a whole other trial and challenge to even get it. Like even if you want it, like that is a problem that I would agree with. Like forget all the fact that they're locking behind this gameplay content behind a paywall. It's like a physical, scarce paywall, like that you don't even know if you can get it. It's the same thing with Star Fox 2. Like I would love to try out Star Fox 2. But there's no way I'm going to be able to get an SNES Classic like this holiday season. Like there's just unless they handle it well, and that sucks because I have all these games on the Virtual Console. Like I don't need to buy the SNES for a millionth time. But if that's the only way to get Star Fox 2, like that is kind of uncool. So I get that side of it. But yeah, no, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, that's the big thing. We had to wait and see with Master Mode too. We'll have to wait and see how much it actually changes the game. And I think Per Schneider on IGN made the same point of like, you would think though that if you want to play the hard mode, if you're booting up the game and the first thing you're going to is the hard mode, you're probably like a pretty solid Metroid fan, in which case hopefully most likely you're trying to get the amiibo anyway. Like usually people that are fans like that would want to get the amiibo. So hopefully it doesn't affect too many people. I think most people are just mad because they want to be mad. And in which, don't be that person. Like, don't be the person that's mad about pre-order incentives. Like, the developers and the companies need that pre-order thing to either help their servers or also help their funding, because most developers don't know once a game releases how much money they're going to make off that, how much the sales are going to be, and if there's this period of time where they finish wrapping up the game and the game actually comes out, and they need to know, should we keep working on the game or should we start our next project? Like, should we start working on DLC or should we start, wrapping this project up and go to the next one? And pre-orders give them a great idea of the popularity, and so do things like this. Like, they're trying to gauge, they're trying to figure things out as a company, and you just, like, this is basically your way to vote, and vote with your wallet. And if you think it sucks and if you don't like it, just don't buy the stuff. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next few pieces of news are just going to be quick, rapid-fire news bits, and then we're going to get to our topic of the show, with number 4 being some quick news. NBA Playgrounds added some new features, including 3-point contest, 33 new players, new rebounding system, and the ability to invite your friends, which, yeah, these games need to have that closer to launch. Number 5, Pokemon Switch has been set for, quote, 2018 or later. Duh. And Metroid Prime 4 has also been updated to be determined instead of 2018. Also, duh. I don't know why. If anyone thought those games were... I mean, yeah. I think we've said for a long time Pokemon Switch is probably 2019.
Yeah.
Number 6, Graceful Explosion Machine receives an update, which I thought this was cool for us because we both love this game. Here's the full report via My Nintendo News. Quote, Graceful Explosion Machine has just received an update that brings new features to the exciting Nintendo Switch eShop title announced by developer Vertex, or announced on developer Vertex Pop's website. The update brings a redesigned score screen that studio head Mobeen Fikri what? Okay. Hopes will give you all the information you could want in one place. He also says that there'll be a clear breakdown of your score, weapon usage, and much more. Vertex Pop also wanted to highlight a great moment from each run, so Mobeen designed an AI system that understands when something spectacular is happening on the screen and automatically captures it for you, ready to be shared or saved as you please. Lastly, while building out all these features, Mobeen optimized the loading code, and he now claims the game will load almost twice as fast, end quote. Most of these changes and updates being probably made alongside the development of the game coming to PlayStation 4. They just released there either this past week or it's coming up or something like that, and all these features are coming with the PlayStation 4 version at launch. So they were probably making those features anyway, and they're like, hey, add it over to the Switch, which is awesome because I want to get back into that game. So
yeah.
Cool that that's
all
there
to
now.
Finish through that.
Yeah, I kind of want to do a Let's Play of it. Yeah. Quick news in the aftermath of last week's Pokemon Go disaster. My Nintendo News reports a follow-up, quote, the Pokemon Go Fest didn't go at all well for Niantic or the attendees that gathered for the promising event. You've probably already read what went wrong at the event, and it was nothing short of a disaster. Because of this, some attendees are actually suing Niantic. Thomas Zimmerman, who is a Chicago-based attorney, has said that he has 30 to 50 dissatisfied people on his books who are looking to sue the company. He's basically looking to reclaim the expenses for those who traveled from outside Chicago, end quote. Wow. Basically, some people came overseas to get to this event, and the big thing that is being pushed here isn't the fact that they were, dissatisfied. Apparently, what most lawyers and stuff I've heard and read, what most people are saying is that they could actually have a claim with is if the event was falsely advertised. If that's the case, they could have, a legal claim to get their money back and some compensation. If it's just the fact that they didn't like it, then, like if they just had a bad time there, that's too subjective. It's like if you went to a concert and you traveled overseas, you're like, hey, you didn't do that encore I liked, I want my money back. Like you can't.
It's a
for
pretty
travels
big
too.
lawsuit, though. 30 to 50 people. I mean, that's pretty hefty. Isn't that like class action lawsuit sort of territory and everything?
Yeah.
Isn't it like
Better Call Saul?
Multiple people? Yeah.
Better Call Saul. Number 8, Ultra Street Fighter 2 had a quote favorable launch on Nintendo Switch, with another quote exceeding forecast. Takashi Mochizuki, the technology reporter. Why did I have such a hard time with the word technology? The technology reporter in Tokyo for the Wall Street Journal said in a tweet, quote, Capcom, 450,000 in Q1 figure for Ultra Street Fighter 2, above its expectation. Also, quote, starting to prepare, end quote, multiple Switch version titles. Basically, the gist of that, the layman term breakdown is that Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers, did way better than Capcom expected, sold 500,000 units, and so they are going to be bringing a ton more stuff to the Switch.
What I hope is they update Ultra Street Fighter 2, add a challenge mode or something to it so that it's a little bit more, there's more to it so that I'd actually pick it up, because at the moment, it's just way too lightweight for me to be even interested in picking it up compared to like Ultra Street Fighter 5 that we picked it up on the PC. I'm hoping they bring it over to the Switch because I didn't really pay for it too much on the PC. I'd probably buy it for like real if they brought it over to the Switch. Ultra Street Fighter 5, if they brought something like that over. But But Ultra Street Fighter 2, there's no challenge mode, so there's no like the combos that you can get, do all those challenges. And there's like I think a really lightweight like arcadey just story mode, which Street Fighter 5 is not. I don't know. Actually, it's probably not called Ultra Street Fighter 5. Maybe it's just Street Fighter 5. That one, the story mode is not that great either, from what I've played of it so far and what I've heard. But I don't know. I love the challenge modes in those games and really want that on the Switch with a good challenge mode, so I can just have like an actual sort of game to play through and practice with when I'm not playing online or something.
Yeah, I'm curious. One game that I also tried out the demo to in my kind of Marvel hype was Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which the story mode was complete jank. Like that, I don't know what's going on. I don't know the Capcom people and the voice acting and just the trying to make all the Marvel characters come together like so quickly. Like, I mean, it worked for like the Avengers movies, but doing it in a quick little story like this, like it's always so wonky. Like they got to just really pull some cards where it's like, whoa, Thor has opened up a portal into New York City and everyone poured in and and so the story I was honestly just skipping through, but the fighting portions were absolutely gorgeous. Like one of the best fighters I've seen. Like the cutscenes look pretty jank too, because like you're zooming in on characters you probably shouldn't be zooming in on their faces and stuff. Like they're not made to be CG characters. But when it's pulled back and fighting, it was gorgeous. And I don't know, I think like something like I think they do have like an easy sort of combo system or whatever set up, especially for the demo. But it was it felt so fluid and good. I'm landing all these punches, and like I was playing through, I think as like Iron Man, so he's going like pew 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 pew, and then like shooting up and stuff, and it's just like awesome. And I wanted to play, like I wanted to keep it and play it and buy it, but it was one of those things that's like I don't really imagine myself sitting down at my PlayStation much to do some fighting games. And I already have Street Fighter 5 on the PC, but I was like, man, I would love this on the Switch, like a good fighting game. So hopefully that could be a game that they bring. But I'm also like I am holding out just for Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Fighters. So yeah. Number 9. Smash. Yeah. But even with Smash, I would like a more traditional fighter to go along with that. True. But number 9, no Sims 4 on Nintendo Switch for now. A Twitter user named Scotty is not cute asked the global community manager for Maxis/The Sims if there was any plans for the console port of the PC game to also include the Switch, to which the reply was, quote, there are currently no plans to bring it to Switch at this time, end quote. This personally bums me out, as I was really looking forward to some co-op on the Switch with my wife, who just loves the house building. We were actually getting really into that game on the PC, but it was kind of crappy to sit down at the PC together and play it because it's like it's not really a co-op kind of console or just piece of tech. And the console versions coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox has split screen co-op, so I was hoping it was coming to Switch, but at least it's not a solid no. And last in the Nintendo pipeline are the US downloads for this week. On the Nintendo Switch eShop, on the 3DS eShop, we have Miitopia, which is the RPG game coming out. And then, or actually it's already out by the time you listen to this, that was the 28th. And then Hey Pikmin is also out on the 28th, alongside the new 2DS XL. On the Switch, we got Overcooked Special Edition and also Namco Museum, which you can actually get a demo for Pac-Man Versus right now. And also on the Switch, we have Ultra Hyperball, Namco Museum, which I already said, Cubix Paint, ACA, Neo Geo, Super Sidekicks, and then on the 3DS, you have Kid Trip and Swipe, and on the Wii U, you have Cube Shift. Enough of these freaking Cube games on the Wii U. Victory Run, Air Zonk, and Ninja Spirit. Man, Wii U, someone's like, don't give up on it. If we release Cube Shift on there, people will buy it. And now on to the closer of the show, the topic of the show, the kind of overall theme of the whole episode. Is this the fact that the 3DS is on its way out? We're reporting on it less and less and less here on Koppai, and the Switch is rocking. I mean, we've already talked about the fact that we're getting these games being ported over. They're starting to just build up their library on the Switch. Updates are coming out for games that we love. Pokemon and Metroid are coming. Indie games are getting refined. Capcom's more impressed than ever. The Switch it's like a dream come true. We all had that moment where we wondered, like, is the Switch going to be able to pull it off? Like, is it going to be able to just hit the gates? And we knew with the NX something was different. We knew that there was just this air that was like, this sounds legit. And overall, it's a new era for Nintendo as they finally report a return to profit thanks to the success of the Nintendo Switch, with the 3DS seemingly on the way out with lower sales, less game releases, and the game releases that are coming out seem to just be like a lower caliber than previous years. And so here are some quick tasty stats via My Nintendo News. And so overall net sales for Nintendo is $1.38 billion. Billion with a B, which is a 148% increase. The operating income is $145 million, and with a profit then of $190 million, which is awesome. They're making money now. With the Switch, they have sold 1.97 million Switches for the quarter, for a 4.7 million total life to date, with software being 8.4 million, with 13.6 million life to date. So seems like people then, what is that, are owning about 3 games per Switch. So that's an interesting actually kind of stat there. It's a 3-game attach rate. The 3DS then sold less than 1 million this past quarter at 950,000 for the quarter, with a lifetime total of 67 million, and then software 5.85 million for the latest quarter, 355 million units sold overall. And then some other things is that they've done 9,000. What is this? 9,000 million? What's that supposed to mean? Yen for their smart device related income, and that they've made a ton of money off Pokemon Go. And so yeah, the Switch. I thought that was just super interesting that the Switch sold more this past quarter than the 3DS did, which, may be like an obvious thing, like, oh, of course the Switch is going to sell more. But for the longest time, the Wii U was selling nothing, and the 3DS just continued to reign. Like, it's crazy that basically the home console is doing so well. And yeah, at basically 5 million sales, it's doing well, and that's in the midst of not being able to keep up with productions, no Super Mario out yet, no Smash Bros out yet, no Metroid, no Animal Crossing, no Monster Hunter, no Pokemon, no Kirby, no Yoshi. Like, it is gonna be a great console and a great time to be a Nintendo and a Koppai fan. And ending out the show, let's talk about those remaining 3DS games. So we got, I think, pretty much the nail in the coffin, the new 2DS XL. This will be the 3DS closer. Like, I can't imagine any more hardware iterations after this. I think this is kind of their way of being like, okay, this is as cheap as we can make the console. This is the cheapest way we can produce it. And that new system launched alongside kind of one of their 2 final games, Pikmin on the home console, and one last hurrah for the Miis with Miitopia. Hey, Pikmin right now is currently averaging at a 68 on Metacritic, so not too hot, with the highest score only being an 85 from a place called Gaming Nexus, which I have never heard of. They say that Hey, Pikmin is a radical shift for Nintendo's quirky real-time strategy series, and it changes or skews many of the series' longtime mechanics in favor of a 2D platformer. And so longtime fans might be disappointed, but Hey, Pikmin has the same charm and quality that garnered the original games a cult following, just in a more accessible bite-sized form this time, which I think we got from our initial impressions. Nintendo World Report gave it an 80, saying it's flawed but sure is fun. A better frame rate and higher difficulty would be great, especially since I feel like the different Pikmin abilities still have a lot of untapped potential. Polygon gave it a 70, saying Hey, Pikmin did exactly what it needed to do without extending itself any farther. It gave the series an interesting place, clever puzzles, and a series of cute vignettes, and often storybook style scenery. The worst thing I can say about Hey, Pikmin is simultaneously a recommendation. It's perfectly pleasant, well-rounded, and didn't leave me dying for more. Which I honestly, I think that's a good review, and kind of what I wanted out of it. Like, it'd be a perfect game to pick up and just relax with, do some quick Hey, Pikmin puzzles, and move on. IGN gave it a 68, which is the average score, so they hit it right on the money, saying there's a lot of meat not a lot of meat to Hey Pikmin, which is disappointing when compared to the required skill and replayability of the console Pikmin games. It's good for one playthrough, but this is a voyage I can't see myself taking again. And Nintendo Life was kind of the lowest of the big guys, giving it a 60, which they're normally pretty lenient on Nintendo games. They gave Splatoon 2 a perfect score, and they said despite its strong points, though, it has the feel of a second-tier Nintendo release. Miitopia, then, is sitting at a 67 on Metacritic, with the highest score once again being from Gaming Nexus at an 85. And they said, when I first looked at Miitopia, I honestly thought it was going to be an incredibly simple RPG meant for younger audience. And while the game is simple and somewhat intended for younger players, it still has a look and feel that almost anyone can enjoy regardless of age or experience. Polygon then gave it an 80, saying this RPG won't revolutionize the genre in any sense, which I don't think anyone was expecting. Nintendo Life gave it an 80, saying Miitopia is a special game, marrying the quirky style and interactions of Tomodachi Life with fun, addictive RPG-style gameplay and progression, and a fitting celebration of the Mii concept, which I think is, like we were kind of saying, is a perfect kind of exit for them being the focus, maybe, of Nintendo. And Game Informer gave it one of the lower scores, saying there's a lot to love about Miitopia, even though I was fatigued during the last several hours. I enjoy games like The Sims, where you can create characters and watch their personalities interact in unexpected ways. That element is abundant here, along with the mechanics of a respectably deep RPG, regardless of whether or not you enlist the Pringles guy. Which I thought was a cute little summary of all of it, that when I played it and had my time with it, it was really, really cool to be playing this kind of deep, not deep, like a respectably deep RPG, as Game Informer says, but the main villain was Walter White, and I was fighting alongside Michael Jackson. Like, you can't get an RPG like that, so if I would, and that's the thing with both these games, and the whole theme of this episode, if these both were on the Switch, they would be guaranteed buys. Like, there'd be no doubt in my mind I'd be owning them and playing them and giving impressions right now. But they're just held back, I think, by the hardware. Like, even the Hey Pikmin got knocked because of the frame rate and, the kind of replayability, where everyone loves to replay games on their Switch. And Miitopia, like, honestly, reading through that, besides maybe its lack of depth, I mean, it's at a 67 average with, big people like Polygon and Nintendo Life giving it, an 8 out of 10. That's a really high score. Like, it's not a bad game. It's just, I think the reason no one's talking about it is because everyone's moved on to their Switch. And so,
yeah,
I think it's just 3DS is on its way out, and long live the Switch. And I'm fine with that. Like, I have to admit, I'm a little bummed that I'm going to have to pull out my 3DS for Metroid in a couple of months.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's how I've been. I've been like not wanting to get any more virtual console on it. It's kind of been gathering dust for the most part. There's a few games I need to get on there and kind of knock out, like my Mario and Luigi Dream Team. I'll eventually get to. There's a few titles like that I can only play on there. But for the most part, I'm ready for both the Wii U and the 3DS to kind of just put them away. It's nice to have. I don't mind switching between a ton of consoles, but it's it's more convenient to have less, to have everything kind of confined to to one place or to just a couple places. So to have like my PlayStation 4 as my primary, like VR station, and then for games like Fallout 4, and then one Nintendo console is kind of ideal, and then my PC. So that, that's getting up there with like 3 different devices I'm switching between, and then my cell phone. So, it's just, they gotta.
Yeah, it's perfect. I think it's perfect that you have the, like, I love my situation of PlayStation at the TV, and like you were saying, like it's your PlayStation, it's your VR. You're by the TV. You're sitting down for a longer binge with your PlayStation. PC is for the kind of those more intense sections of, like, you're playing the more graphic fidelity games, or those kind of experiences. And then the Switch is that perfect hybrid of whatever mood you're in, whether you're sitting down or you're on the go. It's perfect for that. And phone is for like those really quick bites, like not even time to load up the Switch. You got to just take it's like a snack almost. And there's the Wii U does not fit into that anymore with the PlayStation and PC, and my 3DS doesn't fit in there anymore with the Switch and my phone. And not to say, though, I do want to clear this up, because I know we have a few fans out there and a few listeners that have their 3DS, haven't been able to buy a Switch yet, either because they just haven't had the budget for it or because they just can't find one. And I don't want to say, like, you're holding us all back if you have a 3DS, or you shouldn't be playing your 3DS anymore. It's just like, once you get a Switch, you just kind of do instinctively move on. And I mean, the thing is, though, is also, if you're a listener and maybe you're like a lapsed Nintendo player, don't read this with, the 3DS is dying or the 3DS is dead and think, oh, I shouldn't get a 3DS then if you never got one. Like, if you never got a 3DS, it's completely the opposite. Now is the time to get a 3DS, because even though a lot of games have been coming over to the Switch, honestly, not a lot of 3DS games have, because of the two screen sort of dilemma. Mm-hmm. And there's tons of good games, that'll just be forever trapped on there because of 3D, because of two screens, because of the portable nature. And, like, maybe don't pick up Animal Crossing, because if a new one comes out on Switch, you'll just kind of, all your villagers will be left to die. Yeah. But really play through the Zelda remakes, play through all of that. Like,
and then with the DS back compatibility, it's like...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
so much there it's a wealth. Like, if you get a 3DS or 2DS, you're just gonna have unlimited games to play pretty much for the rest of your life. And so, I would, if you currently own a 3DS, I would also say, like, don't sell your 3DS to trade it in to get a Switch, or don't. I would even recommend against the Wii U, trading in your Wii U for a Switch.
I had a friend ask me if they should sell their Wii U, and I was like, that's so hard.
I would say definitely not on the 3DS. The Wii U,
and they had a special edition Zelda Wii U, and I'm like, that decides it. Like, no way.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I don't know what decision they ended up making, but I hope they didn't sell it. Like, please, no.
Oh, yeah. Well, and that one will probably be worth more in the future. So it's like, I wouldn't sell it now, but maybe hang on to it, especially down the line when there are some. Because with the Wii U, in that case, there's always the possibility, we're seeing a whole bunch of ports come over. But with the 3DS, most likely we're never going to be able to play those on the Switch. If they did, it would, in the very, very rare case that they made an adapter, sort of like a PSTV sort of device, you would most likely still have to own all of the physical 3DS cartridges and everything to play it, if any sort of adapter came out, like the Game Boy player. And I really doubt it. Like, Nintendo just has gone years with just outdoing something like that, and I've kind of given up hope at this point that we're going to get any way to play 3DS games on the TV. Although, they eventually did the regular DS games on the Wii U.
That's true.
But with the way that they were able to handle the screens with the gamepad, I'm interested in how it will work. But there's always the possibility.
We haven't really seen that. I guess Splatoon was a game that had a pretty big mechanic that needed a second screen with the jumping and the map management, and they were able to handle that pretty well with motion controls kind of substituting in, where you just quickly point with your controller, like kind of yank yourself to where you need to go. We haven't really seen, though, how games are going to operate in this new one-screen world. Like, it's been quite a while, I think, since we've had, because I guess the Wii era we had only one screen, but even throughout the Wii era, half Nintendo's games had two screens. So, and when did the DS come out? Like, the DS was 2004 or whatever, around that time. So it's been like 13 years that we've had Nintendo really utilizing two screens, to the most of their games and franchises, and we're working our way back to one screen. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, no, it's such a crazy time for Nintendo, and I can't wait for this time next year, like next year's E3, and as the 3DS just really, really starts to die out, like when we have Pokemon Sun and Moon Ultra coming out, but I can't think of too many games in 2018, that are coming out, or even the rest of 2017. We have Fire Emblem Warriors coming out, but beyond that, I think 3DS is really, really on its way out. Besides, not to say like, third parties will continue to do that, but as far as Nintendo directly supporting it, I can't imagine, like even with Pokemon, I can't imagine after Sun and Moon Ultra, them also making another, Pokemon game, because their focus is on Switch now. So, like, I think Sun and Moon Ultra is kind of their way of doing one more Pokemon game without using a ton of resources, maybe.
Yeah.
And so,
and still a game to come out after they've released their last iteration, so that it's not just here's a brand new device in the 3DS, 2DS family, and then bye.
Yeah.
It's like, here's a new device, and then a few months later, there's a brand new couple games coming out that are going to last you possibly throughout the whole entire next year. If you really,
with updates,
play competitively.
They keep adding Mega Stones in and all that.
Right. Yep.
So, yeah. Well, that's Koppai Podcast, episode 65 in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to click that like, subscribe, share, and little bell button to be completely tied into the Koppai ecosystem, and also leave a comment down below. Are you shelving your 3DS? Are you just getting a 3DS, or is the 3DS constantly in your rotation of games or consoles to be played? Let us know. Have you made the switch to the Switch? Let us know. And any other news stories we discuss, be sure to leave a comment on them. And also be sure to check out our Splatoon 2 Let's Play series, our Zelda Let's Play series, and come back next week for the start of our Mario Kart Let's Play series, where we play through all the Grand Prix and all the Splatoon 2 campaign levels and the entire campaign of Zelda as Tingle in Master Mode. I think we also have some Salmon Run planned, and I also want to start doing some Minecraft on the channel and some maybe of the other Nintendo Switch indies. Speckle those in there. So tons of Let's Plays to watch, tons of stuff to check out. It's a good time to be a fan of Koppai. Check us out on twitch.tv, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as Koppai Gaming. But until next time, Koppai!